it's been revealed that a fake U.S. embassy was shut down in Ghana. It apparently operated for 10 years.
Don't say it like that.
Yes. How long, when did the State Department become aware of this, is one question. And the other is this embassy, so-called embassy, had access to blank forms that were deemed authentic, issued visas, and so how many people got into the United States from these visas?
All good questions. All right, there's a lot to unpack here. I'll do my best and then answer any follow-ups. So, yes, the quote-unquote fake embassy. This was a criminal fraud operation masquerading as a fake U.S. embassy in Ghana, in Accra, and it was shut down, as you know. No visa obtained, no fake visa, and let's be very clear, we're talking about counterfeit visas. That no visa that was obtained through this fraud scheme was ever used to enter the United States. What happened was that the operators of this fraud operation were able to obtain real Ghanaian passports or even foreign passports that were either lost, stolen, or somehow sold to them. A handful, and I think it was fewer than 10, of the passports seized by law enforcement contained expired U.S. visas. So they then used these expired visas to counterfeit off of, as prototypes or whatever, as models to attempt to produce counterfeit visas. So the visas in question were not stolen from the U.S. Embassy. Again, this operation, this fake embassy, made and printed counterfeit visas using the expired visas as a blueprint. So none of the individuals, as I said, who purchased these counterfeit visas were able to use them to travel to the United States. And why is that? Because it's very, very hard to counterfeit U.S. visas these days. It's a highly secure document. It's got numerous security features designed to prevent successful counterfeiting. And so this operation failed basically because they couldn't produce.
Were people nabbed coming into JFK or somewhere? Did actually anybody try to use
My understanding is that no. Is that no one was actually even attempted or caught at the border. Now, we're still going through some assessment of this operation. But my understanding at this point is that no one was actually stopped at the border trying to enter into the United States using one of these fraudulent visas. My understanding is that, frankly, the counterfeit visas were pretty poor quality. So it may have been the fact that these people, once they paid for them and got them, realized they weren't going to be able to use them to get into the United States.
And for how long did the State Department know that this operation was going on?
We only learned about this year.
Even though it had been there for 10 years with a
US
flag
apparently
flying outside 3 days a week.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, I don't want to, I'll refer you to the Ghanaian authorities to speak to how this operation existed for so long without it coming to their notice. You can imagine the ways in which that could happen.
Yes, we can.
But, we learned about it this year. And the extent of the counterfeiting and visa fraud only became apparent. I think we had an anti-fraud operation called Spartan Vanguard, and that helped, I think, bring the extent, as I said, of this to light. I think I've answered more or less all the.
Did you learn about it and bring it to the Ghanaian officials' attention, or they shut it down?
I believe it's that we learned about it and brought it to the Ghanaian authorities' attention.
Can you just answer this?
Yeah.
You don't believe that anyone ever tried to use any of these? That these people who didn't have the perceptive qualities to realize they were walking into a fake U.S. embassy and then pay that fake U.S. embassy, then were able to discern on their own that the visas didn't look good enough, and so they decided not to try. That just seems so wholly unrealistic. It cannot be possible in this universe to be true on a universal level. That nobody tried. All these people who went to a fake U.S. embassy then realized, based on the quality of the visa, that it wouldn't work and just gave up. Mark, that doesn't pass the laugh test.
Well,
seriously.
Look, so first of all, many of the people who engaged in this activity, I'm not talking about the people who ran the operation, but the people who tried to obtain visas, it was, they were duped. They were conned. Once they were conned, you don't necessarily go running to the police and say, I just obtained illegally a U.S. visa, and oh, by the way, it looks terrible, doesn't it? I can't use this to get in the United States. Again, I didn't say categorically that no one did it. I thought I said, to our knowledge, as of today, we do not believe that anyone actually used or was stopped at the border trying to use one of these fake visas to enter in the United States. I can't speak to what their motivation was for not trying that, but
If you didn't stop
it's
anybody,
not-
how do you know that all of them didn't get in?
well, again, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm trying to.
If you never stopped a single person with one of these fake visas, how can you plausibly say that you know that they didn't all get in successfully into the United States?
Well, look, so whenever anybody applies for a visa, we collect biometric data as part of their visa application. So when you come to the border and they look at your visa, they verify this biometric data at the port of entry. So that's right there. When in a fake visa from a Ghanaian fake embassy, you're not going to have that biometric data. It's going to send up alarms. It's going to not register. And so, as I said, to my knowledge, we've not been able to say, although we may find out, yes, there were 2 or 3 of these individuals, and we stopped them at the border. I just don't have that in front of me right now.
All right.
Yep.
Follow on the.
Sure, and then I'll get to you, Mark.
So, do you have any reason to believe that there might be other operations in any other countries?
Well, we're running this, as I said, I mentioned, it's got a very cool name, Spartan Vanguard or something. Yeah, Spartan Vanguard. But it's an anti-fraud operation, and that's what this is. The intent of it is to kind of sniff out and find out where these fraudulent operations are ongoing. This is a long-standing practice. It's just that now it's awfully hard to do because, as I said, of the things, the security that they're able to build into these visas. I mean, we all have it, whether it's your credit card or whatever. It's a lot harder to counterfeit that kind of stuff today. But I can't speak to say that. I'm sure there's other operations ongoing, and we're going to remain vigilant and try to stop them.
But are there any particular areas that you might see more of that activity?
You mean regions of the world?
Yeah.
I don't have that. I don't know that.
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
You're in the hands of an adolescent.